Well, good morning or good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for
Well,
joining
good
us
morning or
today.
good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Here, let me mute everybody. My name is Amanda Guerrero. I'm the Director for Instructional Support here at Houston City College, and we are hosting our Recipes for Success workshop today with our Student Life. We partner with Student Life to make sure that we're providing our students with some really great content that can help build skills for you as you progress with your educational journey with us and then even beyond. So today we have a special speaker for you. We will maintain muting everybody's lines while we're presenting, but then we'll have an opportunity at the end for folks to ask questions. And if there are any interactive components, you can simply take yourself off of mute if you're being asked to do that as well. But today we have with us Mr. Christopher Smith. He is a full-time English and writing tutor with Houston City College, and he's going to be presenting on a really important topic. It's effective note-taking methods, and it's great that you guys are attending this at the very beginning of the semester so we get you started on the right foot. So without further ado, Chris, do you want to go ahead and take over?
Yeah, thanks, Mandy. My name is Christopher Smith. I am the full-time English and writing tutor at Houston City College, and today I'm going to be talking to you about effective note-taking. An important part of being a student is effective note-taking. However, although teachers expect that students are taking notes, and usually students write things down in class, less often when they're reading their textbooks, although that is just as important. Oftentimes, the student has no familiarity with how to take notes or is following a method that is ineffective for them. This presentation is designed to help you figure out how to take effective notes for your class and how to find a note taking strategy that works best for you. The three most effective methods for note taking are the mind map method, the outline method, and the Cornell method. And all of these are good and really equally so, but different strategies work better for different people or for different subjects. Let's look at them a bit more in depth and try each of them out. Mind map method is great for visual learners and helps process information. And actually, it does a lot of things. It facilitates development of supermemory. It uses your whole brain. It shows links between related points. It makes learning fun and it juices up heavy study material. Now, the mind map method can get really complex because it's all about what and how a person constructs ideas in their mind and what they find important. It can look really crazy to anyone other than the note taker after the first glance, like this. You look at this and it just looks chaotic. Look at it for a moment. You'll notice that at the center is the question, why do people participate in open culture? And then surrounding this question in blue are some big ideas like efficiency, empowerment, values, and fun. And then around those idea clusters, you have very specific statements. Like near efficiency, we see more cost effective, sharing accelerates progress and innovation. And next to values, we have it's the right thing to do, or transparency, freedom, sharing, community. By empowerment, we have the idea I'm free to express my creativity, learn new skills, build self confidence. So we even have a little drawing over there by necessity. Um, and so it can look very complex like this, but it can also look very simple like this, where we have a simple little mind map, where we have the solar system, and branching off from solar system, we have asteroids and planets. And branching off from planets, we have moons, and for some reason, spaceships. Don't know exactly why, but it's their mind map, not ours, and they felt that it was appropriate. Anyways, uh, when you make a mind map, what you always do is you try to start with the main idea being put in the center. And I've done this on the screen here to sort of make it clear. You'll see in a little bit an example of my handwriting, and you'll understand why this part I did this way. I wanted you to get the ideas clearly. But so you draw the map with your main idea in the center, and then you create subheadings branching out from that main idea. And then you can potentially, if you want to, branch out with maybe a little drawing next to one of your subheadings if you're more of a visual learner and that helps you to grasp the concept a little better. Or maybe you want to put keywords or main ideas, subheadings in that other area. It's up to you because, again, it is your mind map. I'm going to give you a little reading here, and then I'm going to show you the mind map that I created in order to uh, facilitate this. Reasons your class may be driving you up the wall. There are multiple reasons your class might be causing you a lot of stress. You may feel like the subject doesn't make any sense. You may feel there are too many assignments for the semester with too much work to do. And you may feel that the grading scale is too tough and you cannot possibly do everything you're asked to do, like follow correct MLA formatting, use only approved sources from the library database, both define and analyze a material thoroughly while sticking to the word count and avoiding any spelling or punctuation errors. The result of all of this may be that you want to have a breakdown in the middle of class and scream at your teacher at the top of your lungs. Yes. So we have in the middle here reasons your class may be driving you up the wall. We've got the subheadings, too many assignments, the grading is too tough, subject doesn't make sense, can't possibly do everything you're asked to do. I couldn't really fit a drawing in this one, but I do have some key words and concepts here, branching off of the cannot possibly do everything you are asked to do. And I listed there the MLA formatting, the library database, define and analyze material, word count, and spelling and grammar check. So now that you've seen an example of the mind map, I want to give you another reading, and then I want us to try to construct a mind map together. So let's look at this. Why you should not let anxiety overwhelm you during the semester. Despite the great anxieties that may come along with being a student, particularly in a class that doesn't play into your strengths, you really shouldn't break down in class and start screaming at your professor at the top of your lungs. Remember, although they may seem like they are creating all these requirements just to torture you, this is someone who can really help when you are feeling lost and confused. You might actually learn a lot from them. And if you can keep it together, even as the stress piles up over the semester, you may find you not only learned how to do many things you couldn't do before, but that you've grown and matured as a person. Also, exploding in class might cause you to be invited to leave the school for a certain amount of time. This is called being suspended. Extended craziness may cause you to be invited to leave the school permanently. This is called being expelled. You want the happiest experience you can have as a student, not the worst. Try to keep calm, reassure yourself you can do it, and look for a positive spin. As you are feeling the pressure build, ask your teacher for some tips on how to approach all the requirements. Make an appointment for tutoring with the Academic Success Center. Our number is 713-718-8184. You're going to make it through the semester okay. Reassure yourself of this, especially at midterms and finals. All right, so that is our reading. And now we are going to try to create a mind map together. So if someone wants to unmute themselves or put a comment in the chat and Mandy can read it for us, uh, what do we want to put here in the center for our big idea? What's the main topic of this passage? Anyone?
Why you shouldn't let anxiety overwhelm you during the semester.
Exactly right. And so what's a subheading here? Let's go back. I'm going to bring us back over to the reading for a second so you can look over it again. I mean, it's not that easy to keep all of it in mind. What's a subheading here from the reading that we could put next to our central idea as a main idea we want to keep in mind for ourselves? Anyone, feel free.
We can put that the professor can help you when you may feel lost or confused.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's terrific. Thank you so much. Yes.
Chris, somebody also mentioned that counseling and tutoring are available.
Yes, yes. Put that one up there. Counseling, tutoring. And, just because I like to remind people all the time, remember, if you want tutoring with us, 718.
8184. So it's 713-718-8184. I also
That's
popped,
what I was getting thrown off because I wasn't saying the 713.
I popped that into the chat,
Yay.
and it's a best practice for everybody if you have your cell phones to go ahead and pull out your cell phone and program that telephone number into your phone. Just label it HCC tutoring.
So yes, that's it. Is there another big idea that we want to put down here?
You can grow and mature.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. Very good. And like I said, I'm terrible at pictures, but someone mute yourself again. We're getting a little echo back. Thanks. I'm terrible at drawing pictures, but here, maybe just a little picture of someone. They're growing. Look, they're getting bigger. Their minds are getting bigger. Anyways. But yeah, I'm terrible at growing. But anything, any idea, any visual that helps you to cement the idea in your head is good. Yes, all this is very nice. Um, as I said, every individual when they are creating their mind map is going to do it a little bit differently. Um, I find that this is a particularly good process for students who are visual learners or on the artistic side, not so much used to regimented thinking and ideas just kind of pop up in different ways in their heads. This can be a really effective way of noting the ideas that are being expressed in class that is meaningful to them. Now, that is simply one of the methods of note taking that we have. And I want to move on to the next one, which is the essay outline format. Now, this is the most common method of note taking that students use, and probably a lot of you already use it to one extent or another. Um, but that doesn't mean it's not a good one. The fact that you're already using it, that you've heard about it before, doesn't mean we can forget about that one because it really is helpful, and for a lot of people, it really is very effective. In this method, you use Roman numerals to title a major section of the notes. You use capital letters to describe the subheadings and Arabic numbers to provide any additional details that you have. We see a tiny example here below where we see an essay broken down into its introduction, its body with three main paragraphs, and then we note the numbers under each of those paragraphs to give a little bit more detail of them, a conclusion, and a reference page. But again, I would like to look at a sample reading and then show you an example of an outline for that reading. Why cats are better than dogs. There are several reasons a person might think cats are better than dogs. For one thing, cats don't take up very much space in an apartment or a bedroom. Cats are generally smaller sized. A golden retriever will take up more space in your bed than a kitten. Cats are often more affordable. The adoption costs for cats are much lower. In fact, in the peak season for litters of kittens, shelters may waive their fees entirely or do a two kittens for the price of one deal. When it comes to toys you buy for your pet, cats also come out as more economical. Dogs tend to chew their toys. Thus, to keep the toys from falling apart, toy manufacturers have to make dog toys more durable, and the materials necessary for this make dog toys more expensive. Dogs, of course, need more exercise. A dog must be walked, whereas a cat can be allowed to loaf and sleep as it wants. In this day and age, when most adults are working, that can lead to having to pay someone to walk your dog. And dog walkers can cost as much as $15 to $20 for a 20-minute walk. If you want to save money and save your legs a stretch, think of getting a cat who will stretch out beside you on the couch. So that is the reading, and here is an outline for that reading. We have Roman numeral 1. Cats don't take up much space. We have point A, that they're smaller, and then we have Arabic numeral 1, a little additional note, little additional detail. A golden retriever will take up more space in your bed than a kitten. Then we have Roman numeral 2, that the cats are more affordable. And then we have our big points, our subheadings. Adoption costs are much less. Dog toys tend to be more expensive. Dogs need to be walked, whereas cats can take care of themselves, each with additional details to sort of give us a little more information. The shelters often waive their fees for kittens entirely or do a 2-for-1 deal. Dogs tend to chew their toys, thus the toys have to be made more durable, and dog owners pay more for them. And then dog walkers can cost as much as $15 to $20 for a 20-minute walk. So now, once again, I'm going to give you another reading. And then after that reading, I want us to try to create an outline together. And I also made an outline for the next section too, but I want to share that for a little bit later. I want to use that because I'm going to need it in the third and final form of note taking we're going to talk about. But we'll get to that soon enough. So now, this second reading. Why dogs are better than cats. Dogs are much simpler to train than cats. Dogs can learn to obey pretty easily, and in fact, they love being trained and having tasks to perform. A cat that obeys is an oxymoron. Furthermore, taking care of a dog when it needs to be taken out is much easier and less unappealing than occasionally cleaning out a cat's litter box. You have to find a permanent place for a litter box, and they almost always smell. Of course, you are the one who will have to clean it occasionally. And it isn't just the occasional cleanup. Cats can track litter all over the house. Dogs don't need litter boxes, and they can be trained to go for a walk a few times a day. Cats are often unsocial. Sometimes you can get them to play with a piece of string or a toy, but a lot of times they really don't want to be bothered. But dogs love to play. They get very excited playing fetch or tug of war with a toy, and they love to be involved with you. The difference in social quality between the two also points to another positive aspect of dogs. Your dog wants to protect you, and even the smallest dog will want to guard you against strangers. Your cat is as likely to scoot out the door when someone they don't know comes along. This is related to a question of loyalty. Your dog wants to understand you. He or she will cock their head to understand what you are saying. And if you are sad, they will try to make you feel better. Your cat is not as likely to be social. It may just as well nap as give you attention. Thus, if you want loyalty, protection, friendship, and ease, a dog may be the better pet for you. Okay, now, once again, let's try to create some note taking together. This time we're doing the outline form. We're, of course, going to start off with that Roman numeral 1 for the first point. Let's go back and look at that passage again. What might we choose for our first big idea for our note taking?
Dogs are simpler to train than cats.
Yeah. Um, that's exactly right. So we'll go back over here. Can say dogs are easier to train. And we can put in that big subheading, dogs love to be trained, but can put in the little detail there, cats don't. Roman numeral 2. Let me try to get that camera in a little bit better for you so you can see that a little bit clearer when we're doing something. There we go. Let's go back and look at our reading again. What's the next big point we can look to? Anybody? Let me give you a clue that will help. Whenever you're taking this from a reading as opposed to a lecture, so with a lecture it can be a little bit more difficult, but with a reading you can always kind of look at the paragraphs and think of each paragraph as one of these Roman numerals. And that can be a way to start. So obviously our next paragraph is on the litter box. So that then can be our next portion of the outline. So we can say like litter boxes versus walking. And one of the big points can be that dogs need to be walked only a couple of times a day. We can say that cats have litter boxes. That must be cleaned. And then we can even put the details there about that the litter box smells and that the cat can track litter around the house. Let's do one more. What's one final idea that we have here that we might put down for?
Dogs are more social than cats.
Yes, I think that would be very nice. Thank you.
There's also a couple of comments, Chris. Cleaning
Oh, yes.
is easier for
Yeah, please.
dogs.
Yeah.
Dogs are protective and cats are frightened easy. Those are a couple things that are mentioned.
Yeah, let's do that. want to get viewpoints from all sorts of people. So let's go with a couple of those from the chat. Say that one more time again, Mandy, if you don't mind.
Yes, a couple of folks have mentioned about the ease of cleaning for dogs,
Right.
and then that dogs are protective and cats frighten easily. There's a
Yeah.
comment about companionship and socializing.
Yeah, and then we could even put that down here. Scoot. Dogs are social. And then we could put the same thing down there. Cats scoot. That does sometimes happen. Yeah, very good. This is really nice. Now, I just want to very quickly show you what I did for the outline, just because it's going to be important for the last thing that we look at in this list. So here is my outline. Why cat I'm Roman numeral one, dogs are simpler to train than cats. Uh, and then I have point A, dogs, one, learn to obey pretty easily, love being trained and having tasks to perform. Uh, B, cats do not like to be trained. Uh, and then we have number two, Roman numeral two. Uh, dogs require a litter box, whereas point A, uh, you only have to walk a dog. Dogs can be simply taken for a walk 2 or 3 times a day. Dogs don't need litter boxes. Cats do need litter boxes with the details that litter boxes need to be cleaned occasionally, and cats can track litter all over the house. Um, and that point three, dogs offer protection. Dogs will guard you from burglars and strangers. And then with two details, even the tiniest dog has a certain amount of. And so I don't know actually how to get back to the presentation. Oh, here we go.
That's okay. It was just a minute, Chris. We're back on.
Yeah, I'm right now on my phone waiting to get my laptop back up. Are we back? Are we seeing my screen again?
Yes, I
Are we
can see your
seeing
screen.
The outline?
Yes.
Good, excellent. Okay,
All
so
right.
so this was the outline that I'd created, and I'm sorry about the interruption, everyone. This is the outline I'd created for why dogs are simpler to train than cats, or make a more effective pet than cats. Uh, just keep this in mind for a second. This is not about right or wrong. Let me show you mine versus the one we created together. But I want a template for when I show you the final aspect of note taking, the final method, which is the Cornell method. And the Cornell method is similar to the outline method. It's a little bit more involved, though, and involves a little bit more setup, but it's really effective when it comes to utilizing your notes to study for exams or quizzes. Oftentimes, students, even when they learn to take good notes, they're not really sure how to utilize those notes as a study aid. And the Cornell method is really effective for that. With the Cornell method, you draw a line down your page about 70% of the uh, page on one side of the line, 30% on the other. If you're using a yellow legal pad, you can just use the margin that's already there as the dividing line. And you start off by just writing your notes as you normally would in class. Then to the left, you either insert a main idea or a key question related to those notes. And at the bottom of your page, you make a quick summary of your notes in your own words. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, okay, isn't this just a lot of extra work? What's this actually doing for me? The answer is As you see here with the outline I'd shown you before, you notice to the side I have these questions like which species are better for responds better to training, or what about the problems with litter boxes, or which animal provides more safety, or which animal makes a stronger connection. And at the bottom I have a very quick summary of the notes I've taken. Not everything in detail, just an overall summary, because dogs can be trained easier than cats and in fact love to be trained and have tasks to perform. They often make better pets. When it comes to their needing to relieve themselves, dogs do this less frequently and with less of a mess overall. Dogs are also winners because of their protection and loyalty. Here's where it becomes great. You can take a piece of paper and cover up those notes and look over at your questions and see what you remember. And before you immediately, if you don't know it, look at the notes to get all the answers, look down at the summary at the bottom and see if that helps you get there. And what this does is it essentially turns your notes into a series of flashcards that you can use to quiz yourself and make sure that you're understanding this material. You didn't just write it down, but you have a way to find permanently imprint it on your memory, or at least for 16 weeks or so imprinted on your memory. So I find this a really, really effective tool. And it doesn't really require that much more than it does to simply take notes to begin with. You don't have to write the questions down beside you while you're taking notes in class, or write your summary at the bottom of the page while you're in class. When you're going back, look over those notes and put those questions in the margins. And it by the way, it doesn't necessarily have to be questions. I might say, remember the cat and dog that I have growing up. And next to that first section on dogs are simpler to train than cats, I might say, oh, I remember my cat, and you know, she would just kind of look at you if you called to her and kind of turn her head and go the other way. Whereas all I had to do was barely look in the direction of my dog, and he came running over and wanted to get petted, you know. And something like that can help me to remember about the difference between training one versus the other. So it doesn't have to be a question, but questions are pretty good. And so I think this Cornell method is really worth exploring. Um, and overall I would say, you know, if you're a more creative person, the mind map may work better. If you tend to think more in a linear fashion, the note taking can help you. And if you're really worried about retaining the material, this Cornell method might be the most effective for you. Having said that,
Suddenly my power cord is not working.
please keep in mind there's no one right method for everyone, nor is one method necessarily good for all circumstances. So don't just pick one and stick with it. Try them all out in different circumstances. After you've attended a class and tried the outline method, or after you've uh, tried the Cornell or the note taking method, look it over, see if it is holding the ideas in your head the way you want it to. If it is, great. If it isn't, try something else. I would do this in all your classes, especially if it's your first semester and you're still kind of figuring out which one is best for you. You might find the outline of the Cornell is really good for something with very specific sort of uh, knowledge requirements like science or maybe even composition, but you might find that um, the the mind map method works maybe better for understanding history or keeping historical ideas in perspective, or maybe in a psychology course. It all depends, but I would try them all out, and I wish you luck with them. Anyone, you can unmute yourself or put it in the chat. I can look at it either way.
No, thank you, but you did a great job.
So that is the end of my presentation. My question is, does anyone have any questions for me? One final thing I wanted to say before we let you go. As I said at the beginning of this, I am the full-time English tutor for the Academic Success Center. We also have tutors in math, science, history. Any course that you take at HEC, we are likely to have a tutor for in that subject. And you can either get tutoring in person or you can have a Microsoft Teams meeting, just like we're meeting right now. So virtual or face in person, but it's face-to-face, real-time tutoring. The number that I shared with you already, and I think Jenna's put a flyer in the notes that also
did.
includes it. The number is 713 718 8184. Call that number. You will immediately get a lab assistant who can help you either to make an appointment for a future date or to see who is available at that time. Our hours are 8 to 4 Monday through Thursday. 8 to 8 Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4 on Friday. Sorry about that. And 9 to 1 on Saturdays. So please make use of our services and reach out for any help that you need in any of your courses. And we hope to see you in other presentations going forward. Did Jana, did either you or Mandy have anything you wanted to say before we wrap this up?
No, great job. And I want to thank everybody for coming today. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Have a great day. Bye.